In this new age of American prosperity, the population had taken up a practice called conspicuous consumerism. People were buying things for pleasure, not for necessity. With technological improvements such as better sanitation and manufactured products, quality of life and life expectancy began to climb. This meant the rich were getting even more money, and the middle-class Americans decided that buying power was the best way to flaunt their status to imitate the rich. This new zeitgeist was only amplified by the advent of the department store. In addition to better quality of life, education had started to see an increase in quality as well. The number of high schools climbed from a few hundred to over 5,000. There was an increase in literacy rates to almost 90% by 1900, and grade school had been made compulsory. In the fashion of a practice called expansive education, schools had begun to teach students skills that they could use to survive in growing industries. This included training in science, woodworking, drafting, civics, business, and English for immigrants who had just come to America. Many people had taken part in reforming the education system, including John Dewey. While education had come a long way, there were still some flaws, including the segregation of colored people from white schools. This segregation, though, led to an increase in the creation of schools and colleges for African Americans. These schools were comprised of normal public education, agricultural colleges, and industrial training schools, all of which were necessary to help the newly freed wave of African Americans to compete with the rest of society. The aftermath of the Civil War, along with the evolution of technology, brought America into a new age of maturity. This age would define social norms for decades to come, some lasting up until the present day. Now, grade school public education is mandatory and is considered a fundamental part of every child's life. Most importantly, free and equal public education is available to everyone, a feat that seemed impossible hundreds of years ago. This era has also affected the way we live our everyday lives. Department stores have become commonplace, brand loyalty is seen everywhere, and conspicuous consumerism is more prevalent than ever. The American maturity changed education and consumerism in such a way that the foundations of modern society would be built off those new paradigms.